So feel free to share that. So you just got back yesterday or Tuesday?
Tuesday. I was
Okay.
back to work yesterday. Went straight back into a short week because we're leaving again on Monday. I fly out. So
What is that for?
we have the DX all hands on in Portland next week. So it's
Ooh,
gonna
that's
be
cool.
fun.
I'm
Yeah.
jealous. So how big is DX as a whole?
DX as a whole, let's see. So we have 4 pillars. So we have a frameworks team, a docs team,
Mm-hmm.
the DX engineering team, templates. I like almost forgot Prince and Tara and all the wonderful people
Okay.
in templates. But yeah, so I would say maybe 20, 25,
That's
something.
cool. That's exciting. I'm so jealous. Those are so many cool
Yes,
people
it's
for
gonna
you
be
to get to
so
hang out with.
fun. I can't wait to meet these people. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
excited. I've known them for a couple years now and very excited to be in person.
I'm jealous. Yeah, we get to do our marketing team offsite in Austin a few weeks ago, and that was awesome. And then we had our full like company offsite back in March in New Orleans, and that was super fun too.
Oh, nice. I've
Yeah.
never been to New Orleans.
Really? Even
Yeah,
growing up in
is
the
it
South?
fun? Even growing up in the
Um,
South, I don't know.
yeah.
I guess it's
I've
not
gone
really a kid. Is it a kid-friendly place? Like,
it
probably
definitely could be,
not.
yeah. Like you could definitely make like you wouldn't go out at on bourbon at
Don't
night,
go at
but
night.
you could go for Mardi Gras and make it a family thing. Yeah, it'd be super fun to watch the parades and stuff and all that.
So where
Um,
my mom lives now in Daphne, the kids get out a week for Mardi Gras and they do
mm,
parades like every day. They have like 20
yeah,
something parades that week. It's
I could see
insane.
it. Yeah. Yep, I could definitely see that. It could definitely be a family friendly fun thing. But I also went I guess I've been a few times now. I went for Mardi Gras twice in college, so that was not super family friendly. And then I've been back for this offsite, and we spent the night in New Orleans before going out on a cruise for a bachelor party. So that was one more night there.
Nice.
Do you have conferences coming up that you're going to in person
So
like the
I'm
rest of this
going
year?
to be at Spelt Summit in September. So September 8th and
Super
9th is
jealous.
Spelt
Yes.
Summit in Stockholm. I'm very excited about going to that. We're talking about our plans right now. We're going to do like a Sirens event and
Mm,
kind of a workshop or like pre-recorded video thing to go along with it. And then I'll be at the All Hands for Netlify the week after that.
mm.
And other than that, I don't have any plans. I have some CFPs out. We'll see what happens, but I don't have anything as of right now. I'm excited
Cool.
to get back to in-person conferences though. I
Yes.
want to like meet
Yep.
people and be in person again.
Same. Hopefully we'll overlap at one this year. And the CFP thing is interesting because it's like you want to you never know what you'll get accepted to, so you want to submit a decent amount, like to give yourself chances. But then,
Exactly.
like if you end up
You
getting
don't
into
want
all
to
of them,
overcommit.
yeah, yeah.
I get
So
that.
it's
I'm
kind
like
of
trying to be picky about like which ones
yes,
I even
yep.
yeah.
It's kind of fun to
I
try to
feel
balance
like
all of that.
my mouth is not matching up with my lips, so I'm sorry folks. I don't know.
Looks close. I didn't
Is
notice
it
it.
close? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't look. It's not noticeably
It
off
gets
to me.
laggy sometimes. I got this
Hmm.
nice new Lumix Panasonic camera, which is good, but I have to use the cam link and then I use the Bluetooth earbuds and I don't know, it just
Hmm.
sometimes all the technology
Yep.
that we have to deal with in this line of work, it's like get a microphone that you have to have 3 other things to make it sound good to go into your computer.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Sound
how it
familiar?
works. Yes. Because I went from I got this mic, this Shure SM7B as a present from Scotch.io at the time
Nice.
as a Christmas present for like some of the consistent authors, which was amazing, like super, super cool. And then the
Yeah.
interesting thing was like, all right, I got this mic. Now I need to buy a preamp and a
Cloud
interface and
lifter.
like extra cords and stuff. So I ended up, and I was fully prepared to invest this, but I invested like $400 to $500 immediately on top of already getting the $400 mic for free to
Wow.
put it all
Yeah.
together. Yeah. Yep.
That is just crazy.
It's a fun rabbit hole. Like thankfully YouTube and just like content creation on the side has generated enough income to feel comfortable like investing in upgrades. So like ended up buying
That is nice.
camera, the mic, the other things. So it's fun to continue to like build that stuff up, and it's been built up over time. It's not something I built like in a week or a month. It's been over the course of several years.
Yes, for sure. We have someone in the chat.
Yep. MDS. MDS was hanging out with us yesterday. So I had an open, so the Hashnode hackathon is going on right now. Shout out to that with PlanetScale. So that's on Hashnode. If you want to go and find details, people can go and find those, which is pretty exciting. And yesterday I did like an open Q&A session, and MDS was hanging out, and Mark is in the chat. What's up, Mark? And then Max is here as well.
And we have Prince. Prince is here.
Oh, that is Prince. I thought it was by the picture, but then the username is different, right?
I think we get a little confused because it's Maxell on most things.
And then Prince on, yeah. And Sabin, and it's Yohuck. First time chat from you. Thanks for being here as well.
Hello.
One, I guess, like, do you want to introduce yourself and Netlify and the whole thing, and then we can get into actually looking at code and deploying it?
Sure. Yeah, I am Brittany Postma. I'm a developer experience engineer at Netlify. I also do a lot of work with Svelte, so you may know me from the Svelte Sirens, which is a community that I co-founded for women and non-binary people to help them learn, build, and teach in the Svelte community. I don't know, I work with Coding Cat Dev, so I co-host Perfect Dev, I co-host Svelte Radio, I co-host Remotely Interesting. I'm on way too many podcasts. You've probably heard me somewhere, and maybe a couple of Compressed FM episodes in there too. So, okay. Right. Yeah, that's enough of an intro. I have too many jobs.
That's awesome. You sound like me when I have to just
bears.
give. I know. Yeah, sorry. I know. What's up, Jay? Are they his bears?
They are his
bears.
The
sticker or the yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
He was nice enough to send me some swag all the way from across the pond.
That's awesome. Yeah. I got a shirt. I think I bought one of the bear shirts a while back. It's been like a year.
Oh, nice.
Jay, do you still have swag that people can get? If you do, you should drop a link and people should go and check it out because it's really cool stuff. Also, that's one person. Well, I haven't met you in person, so really looking forward to that someday. Jay's another person that I haven't met in person. I got to meet Sabin from Prisma at Remix, which was fun. Nikki T is here. I haven't met Nikki T in person. There's so many people. It's just a fun community.
How's it going?
Cool.
It is. It's such a fun community.
I know. Yeah. Which is why conferences are so much fun. Like, they can be super exhausting, and I'm gonna have a hell of a September, October, November. Like, it's gonna be super busy with conferences. But I'm just so excited.
That'll be fun. I had so much FOMO with y'all at Remix conference and then Render ATL, and I was so jealous.
Yeah, there will always be 1/many conferences that you just can't make it to for whatever reason, and you have fun. Like, that'll never end, and it's really hard for me to accept that because I want to go to everything, but at the same time, like, I can't do it all. So then Jay said never spoke, and then 4 talks in a month and a half. Yeah. It builds up real fast.
That's a lot.
I know some of the people we've chatted before about this, but just out of curiosity, how many people have experience with Remix? So I, like, Brittany, for context, I am doing a build in public thing of this idea called Dev Yearbook. Don't know exactly what it looks like yet, but the idea is basically like a connection point for people after they leave a conference. So maybe the conference itself registers a landing page. We can all like add ourselves to the conference. There can be comments and pictures inside, like whatever it is. So it's kind of the idea that I'm building around, and I'm starting with Remix from scratch, like knowing almost no Remix at all. And the only thing I have so far that I'll show you is a newsletter subscribe. And that's what I'm going to deploy so that if people want to follow along with this journey, I'll send out emails and updates and stuff. So at least have that part out for them to see.
That is a great idea. As we were talking about all these conferences, like having a place to go back to and seeing who you met and some things. That's really cool.
Yep. Exactly.
Hey, Mark. Mark's here.
Yeah. Mark said he played around with the jokes demo. Seems super cool, but haven't had a chance to do more than that yet. That's where I was before I started writing code. So right there. Saban's
Yep.
a big fan of Remix. I'm also using Prisma, surprise, surprise, with PlanetScale, additional surprise, surprise,
You introduced
for
me to
this.
Prisma, and it's really, really awesome.
hmm Yeah. Oh, we did that on when I was on a live stream with you, right?
Yes, we did a
Ooh,
siren
however many
stream, and we
months
did
ago.
PlanetScale with Prisma,
hmm
and yeah, that was fun.
All the things.
All
Jay
the Harry
said,
Potter wand generator.
yeah, so that's actually going to be, I have to take that to the next level for my presentation in 2 weeks at that conference is the name of it for everybody else. Because that's going to be one of my talks is creating the wand generator with SvelteKit, Prisma, PlanetScale, Tailwind, and whatever else. So it should be a fun one.
Nice. Yes.
Jake said this is perfect timing. I want to use it for some things and think about what stack of things to put together. Cool. Love
Yeah.
it.
I was a little confused by the stacks at first, but I've listened to a few podcasts. I did the getting started. So that is my level. I just did the getting started yesterday, and I know about this much Remix, but it's
hmm
built on React. So
Yep.
knowing React, I feel like we'll be in some sort of a good place.
Yes, it gives you like you definitely have a good place to start, but there
Yeah.
in a very good way, there's a lot of things that are very different with the way Remix does stuff. The like biggest idea is that it gets back to like the basics of how the web works, and that's a really really great thing.
Yes.
Um but that means there's like education that like I need myself of understanding how and why and what the things are. So it's been like I've been moving slow, but I think as I'm starting to pick these things up, I'll move a lot faster.
Yes.
Um, Jay, if you did a device-oriented Harry Potter wand demo at Smashing and Pixel, all right, you got to send me a link to. I don't know if you have a video or something
Oh
about
my
that. I need to
gosh.
see that because that sounds super
Yeah.
cool, and I would love to collab. Also, if anyone wants to collaborate on this idea, I'm going to create the GitHub repository now. It'll be open source, and I'd love to have people contributing to this. So anyway, just putting that out there.
Awesome.
So what do I have? Well, I don't have any styling or anything fancy. So this is it. This is the only page, the home page, and it's a newsletter subscribe thing. So it's not actually running. So that would be good if I did that. I
So
don't
what
know
have
where
you
my
done
camera
so
was.
far? Are you going to go through
Oh, I'm
kind
in
of
the
that?
wrong. Yeah. If I open up the right thing, that was our blog for for PlanetScale. All right, let me run this. Homie Coder, who was hanging out yesterday, so hyped about Prisma PlanetScale. Prisma Planet, that should be a thing. I like it.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so this should be running. So right now,
It's like,
this is all I have, and it's a sign up for updates, follow progress as we build dev yearbook in public, and I can type in an invalid email. It has that loading state if you saw it, and then also
mhm.
then provides the feedback. And then I think I'm already subscribed. This is one of the things testing wise that, yep. So this is already subscribed. And if I were to put in another email, which I can hack
So you
together,
have
let me
some
actually log in and show you
validation in
that.
there.
Yep. And I'll show you all of that here in a second. Let me log into MailChimp with this account and delete myself so I can add myself again.
I love LastPass, and that extension is like a
Yes.
lifesaver.
Yep. 100%. 100%. All right. Let me get rid
Jay
of.
said one of his was voice activated and the other was motion activated, and there were
I love
Voldemort
it.
sound clips in there. It's awesome.
We need to tag team a demo of this
Yes.
somewhere.
That'd be so much fun.
I would be super excited about that. All right, let me try this. So watch this, like it's not super impressive, but watch the animations because it took me a long time to figure out exactly how to balance this. But sign up when it's successful, it goes away, and then you're like successfully subscribed, kind
It kind
of
of fades in.
fades in. Yeah, exactly.
And from what I gather about Remix, what I've heard about it is this nested route structure allows you
hmm
to do that with how the component can load outside of the layout, basically. Is that okay?
Yeah. So
You're
in this,
shaking
I
your head at me.
haven't.
I'm assuming I'm right.
Yes. So I haven't actually taken advantage of this much yet, but the idea is like your nested layouts, like maybe you have a layout that's just one individual component. Like let's say you have a top level layout and it includes a nav bar, right? Like that nav bar is probably going to be the same regardless of what route you're on. All right.
Mhm.
And then in addition to that, maybe you're on a dashboard. So you have the nav bar, then the sub of that parent layout is now a dashboard, but your dashboard can have different pages as well. So like the dashboard could have a couple of items over here and then have another inner layout for like the individual components associated with which part of the dashboard you're on. And they could then update isolated from the other parts
So
of the
it's
layout.
like component inception all the way
Mhm.
down to like
Yep.
the level you need.
It's cool stuff. It definitely, like I said, this has been a learning journey for me to where I am, and I still have so much to learn about Remix and how it does what it does, but it's cool. So if we want to take a quick look at the code, I feel like this is it's a decent amount of for what I'm doing.
For what's on
But
the screen.
I tried to make this like an in-depth thing where I've added kind of like all the extra details outside of design that I would like to have for this. So the index route, this is page or file-based routing. So this is an index file inside of, is it routes directory? Inside of routes. So it gets picked up and that's automatically hosted as a route. And it has this newsletter component. But the one important thing here is this action function. You can think of an action function as basically being an HTTP endpoint. Like this is a backend API endpoint. And what's going to happen is we're going to submit the newsletter information to this action function. And this action function, by being defined here, we don't have to do anything other than tell the form somewhere in here to submit to that route. So it's when this form is submitted, and this is just
It
like the
posted at
basics of
endpoint.
how exactly. Yeah. And this is based on how forms work by default. Remix does fancy things behind the scenes, but to us, this looks like regular form stuff. And then it
Yeah,
just knows to send it to this action function, which is really cool.
that is really cool. It reminded me a lot of load in SvelteKit,
Mm-hmm.
like where you
Yep.
can load an endpoint and yeah.
And you have, so I haven't used this one yet, but you have an equivalent loading function that does the exact thing that you're talking about. So the load
Okay.
function, when you go to render a page, the load function is run on the server first and then passes those props down to the component, exactly like what you're talking about.
Yes.
This one handles kind of the other HTTP methods for that same
So
route.
this
So
is
it'd
like
be,
the endpoint that we would
Mhm.
use in Svelte,
Yes.
not the load part. The load
Yep.
is different. Gotcha.
Yep. But these
I have
things
to
are
equate
just
everything back to Svelte. I'm
right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's how we learn everything, right? Like you build up
yeah.
some context and then now you're switching context and you have to have something to relate it to.
Basic. Yep.
Yep. Cool. Nikki T's got a link in there to data
Nice,
loading.
Nikki. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you. I love when people share links in here to support. So the stuff in here, we grab the form, we get the email out of the form, and then we call a method that I define, which is add subscriber. And one of the things we're doing is returning back errors, validation errors, if there are any. So when we call add subscriber, it returns back an array where the first item in the array is a list of errors. If there are errors, we respond back with the appropriate status, either a 500 or a 400. And then we pass back the values in the body so that when this loop finishes, we have those error messages and we're able to show them here. So we're able to populate the email again. So because we pass back the initial values, the user, it just kind of stays on the screen. They still have the email input that they had, but now they have that validation message to show that something was wrong.
Yes, user experience is important, giving them information about what's happening.
Yep. And those are, like I mentioned, there's kind of a lot of code here, but this is the stuff that often gets overlooked in just getting started. Like if I were to do this as a tutorial, I probably wouldn't have added all this. I probably would have just said like, call MailChimp and it's good to go, right? But once you start adding in these small details, the code gets bigger and bigger, regardless of what framework you're working with.
Yes.
So inside of MailChimp, the main thing that this does is just call the MailChimp SDK, the API, to say add this member, and then it handles errors if there are any. So checking for messages, does the member already exist? I then translate that to a message that makes sense to the user. And same thing here. If it's an invalid email address, I'm just letting MailChimp API do the validation. I could also do this myself, but I'm just letting them handle it. And then I return the errors if there are any, and the email, I guess, but I don't really use that because I was sending the email here anyway. So the last piece that's really cool is this idea of the action data. So we called that action, we submitted a form to the endpoint, which is an action function. Whatever that function returns to us, we now get access to in our front end via this use action data hook. So if we were to log out action data, everybody's like number one debugging tool, or at least mine.
I know it's mine. Yeah. I see a lot of people use like the VS Code debugger or like some debugger in the browser. I'm like, no, console log.
I've created a lot of content telling people to use the debugger, and I've done it off and on, but I so rarely do, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I don't know how to set up debugging with Remix and other things like Next.js or SvelteKit, because you got things that are running on the server versus in the client, and I don't know what setup for that looks like. So if anybody has a reference to that would be super useful. But if we look in here, the first time we load this page, the action data is undefined, which makes sense. We then type in a invalid address. You can see now that action data has the errors and the values there. Yes, that's a good idea too. I forget that also. Oh, and for people who didn't see the comment, JS braces around your variables.
And that
another thing that I
name
found,
it for you.
Yes, let's show what that looks like here. So there you can see the name of it and then the value. And here's an extension that I installed.
Yes.
Where if I select text and then do Control Option L, it does this like really bold log where I can see like what function and what line number it is. So I give myself even more context for what's going on.
Yes.
I thought it was fun. It's a little overkill for this, but
that's another one I heard you talk about, uncompressed.
Yeah, there's so many. Everybody has their own set of tools, and I get so excited about all of them. They're so amazing. Homie Coder says I need that. So
do you know the name of the extension?
Yeah, let me dig it out. It is Turbo Console Log. Is that the one? No, that's another one that I use. Wait, is this?
Oh.
No, I think this is the one I use, and I customized it because let's see. If I go into my settings here and go to Turbo Console.
I think maybe that's the link. It says with styling. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Inside of that link. Maybe it's a different log one, rats. Because I thought I defined.
There's a custom Turbo Console log too. Y'all can have both of those.
Yeah. Now I need to confirm if it's okay. I did.
We have diverged from the conversation.
Yes. I did a video on this recently. I think I'm almost positive.
Isn't that the great thing about learning in public is that you can use your resources to go back?
Yep. There we go. How do I confirm? Yeah, this is Turbo Console Log. Cool. So there was some setting where I customized it to add those big like before and after things. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
It's the delimiter, right?
Yeah. Well, there's delimiters, the thing in between the pieces. Like, so if I do this again, the pieces in here are the file name, the line number, the function, and then the variable name. The delimiter is the stuff that separates all that. So the tilde. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they have where you can define the before and after too. So 17 and 19 are lines that I customize also.
Nice. And so I've heard a lot of stuff about UseEffect lately, and that UseEffect may be going away. So I see you're using UseEffect here. So I don't know. You haven't heard about UseEffect maybe going away?
I've never heard anything about UseEffect going away. I'd be really curious if anybody else has heard about that. Yeah, I have no concept for
I
that
don't know
potentially
like
going
in
away.
depth about it, but I did hear that. So this
Are
is
you
going to be like my whole
familiar? Yeah.
remix felt
Well,
thing.
yeah. Are you familiar with UseEffect in general? Like how it works?
I mean, yes. So it loads data for you, and you have to have the dependency on the end that will prevent it from reloading.
So it's basically like the equivalent of reactive variables in Svelte. So
Yeah.
like when you do reactive variable, you whatever variables it depends on, it automatically reruns that calculation when
Hmm.
those things change. So same thing here. When these two variables change, it reruns this thing, this function. Still class-based React out there in the wild.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah, I doubt they, but I wonder if the point is that they have something else that they're recommending going forward. I don't know.
It just happened last month at Reactathon. There's a Reddit post, and Goodbye UseEffect by David Korshid. Korshid? Here's
I
the Reddit post
feel
for
like
you.
I know that name. Yeah. Let me see if I can open that link. By the way, do you actively use Reddit? I know a lot of people spend a lot of time on Reddit. I never really have.
I have Reddit on my phone, and it's subscribed to like the Svelte one, and I will answer
Mm.
questions if they're pinged directly to me, but I don't like look
Mm-hmm.
at Reddit.
Okay. David K. Piano. So I definitely heard of his name.
That's the state machine.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Mr.
So
X
is
State.
that who
Okay.
he goes by? I didn't realize that was the same person, but it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. X State. Yeah. Jay
The
knew who it was.
TLD is state machine's good.
Yes.
That's funny. Which I ended up building. Like this is a mini state machine, but I defined like the different states for the newsletter. So it can be like you haven't submitted yet. You can have submitting, which like is a loading state. You can
Hmm.
have error state, like you submitted and there are errors. And then lastly, you can have the success state. Smartish Endeavors is saying it's the usual war and complaints people have about UseEffect, but that it's not going away.
No.
I definitely could see that. That doesn't surprise me at all.
I think there was a big thing about it, like being a foot trigger where you can shoot yourself in the foot with it.
Mm-hmm. You definitely can, yeah. So in this case, I'm just deriving that piece of state based on a few things, based on that action data. So like if there is action data, if there's action data errors, if there's not, and then also if we're in the middle of a submission and Remix just gives this to us to use transition. So like during that loading phase, it just gives us this submission property on transition. So we can use that to derive whether or not we're submitting. And then I just conditionally display stuff down here based on those states. Say, I don't know the full details of UseEffect stuff, but is it something about doing your effects outside of React and making the JSX more reactive and only caring about state? Handling your effects in something like XState, this is purely... Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I will probably go watch that video out of curiosity. But I don't know all the intricacies of that, to be honest. Okay. Is that enough? Any other? I just wanted to give you and everybody a little bit of context for what the code is. But the main point of this is to actually deploy this to Netlify. Do you have any other questions or
No,
anything?
I'm good
Okay,
now. Yeah, just wanted to see
cool.
what was happening.
So the first thing that I haven't done is I'm going to create a GitHub repo for this. So I've committed it to a local Git, but I haven't actually pushed this to GitHub repository.
So I do have
And
a question for you, because when
Mhm.
you run the Remix CLI and you initted this
I did
locally,
not
like
choose Netlify.
oh, you did
Is that
that
what your question?
intentionally. Yes, that was my
Well,
question.
I didn't do it intentionally for a demo
It,
reason. I did it intentionally because at the time I didn't know where I was going to
yeah,
deploy, and I've
and
since decided on Netlify. Yeah.
it does say now that you can change it easily. So I'm hoping
Mhm.
there is
I know.
documentation around changing.
So when you tried this, you probably did the like initial setup with Netlify.
Yes.
Cool. Love it. I'm
We'll
sure it'll work
see.
out. What could possibly go wrong?
Live coding. Whoever has
Um,
problems.
yes. So do you use the GitHub CLI? Is it GitHub repo create? By the way, another
GH
shout out
repo create.
for
Yep,
and shout out for fig.io for being amazing. All
it
right, so
is.
GH repo create. Let's do that. I'm going to do -- public, and
I don't ever
that's
go through
probably enough.
these, which I probably should, but
The parameters,
yeah.
I don't either, other than the fact that they were there, and I was like, "Ooh, this is cool." All right, I'm gonna run. Is this big enough, by the way, for people to see?
Oh
Pretty
yeah.
big on my machine.
That yeah, that's pretty big.
Cool. Okay. Well, it's telling me I didn't do something. GitHub repo. Oh, got to give it a name. Dev yearbook.
Yeah, Nikki, you can just use that, but then you have to answer the question about whether you want it to be public, and then there's another one about if you want to set the origin and
Yep. Gotcha. Cool. So that should have created. Let me double check this in the browser. Dev
did you
yearbook.
push? Oh,
Not
you
yet.
did.
Just making sure that got
Oh,
created.
okay.
Does that? So if can I do a push from here? Origin does not appear.
So it didn't set your origin because you added the public parameter, but not the origin parameter. So it didn't set your remote origin.
No. Interesting. So I need to manually add that.
Do
'Cause I
that command. Yep.
feel like
It
that's
usually, if
something.
you just do gh repo create, it will ask you. But because
Okay.
you added one parameter, I think it just bypassed the rest of the question.
Oh, lame.
Right?
Lame. Okay. So I should. I don't know what I changed. By the way, I've got little shortcuts in here for git
Nice
commit stuff. So
aliases. Nice. I need to set up some aliases for that stuff. I'm too lazy to set up the alias that will save me time.
I
What are
agree.
you gonna say?
This one came with ZSH, so they give you some stuff built in.
Mm.
And also, did you know that Fig just launched an alias or an alias feature? It's aliases, right? Where you can define aliases inside of the Fig GUI. Oh, let me see.
Oh, nice. I haven't even
Oh
opened the Fig
no.
GUI. I just use the IntelliSense that it gives you.
Mhm.
It's nice.
The dot files, and they also have aliases coming. I think that's public knowledge, or it's out. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, like it's.
You better hope you didn't just drop
I know it's good. Everybody go check out Fig. Is the like moral of the story. Okay, so this should be here. Hopefully, cool. We did something. Now we can go to Netlify.
Docs. Yeah.
And this is an outdated article, by the way. This is from March, so we'll skip that one.
It is.
now.
And it also tells you to use the Netlify drop down.
That's been my traditional thing. It's just breaking the rules. I'm used to being that person, I guess.
And I just went to the deployment on the deployment docs on Remix, and it tells you the same thing. There isn't any other docs that I'm finding.
Oh, how to deploy it after the fact?
One. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see.
So from what I've heard is that the easiest way to do it is to create a new repo or new folder and just copy and paste everything over. Yeah.
But in their docs, they specifically say, like, don't worry, this is super easy to do later on, right?
Yeah, they do. And so I went looking for it and I can't find it.
Lame.
So under guides deployment,
if you have an existing project that is this what you're looking at? You want to change?
You're on Netlify
remix project?
Yeah, so that's what that used to be. But remix docs tell you that it's easy to do later, but then don't tell you how to do it.
Maybe it's easy because you can just create another project and copy it over.
Maybe.
Huh. That seems weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really does.
Do
They're all about fly.io, and I have never tried Fly either. And they don't have a free tier.
Okay.
I wonder if they have some sort of partnership with Fly.
I don't know. Yeah, it could be. I think that's literally, hey, Austin. It's your, I was saying, hey, not your name, but it also is your name. Just make a new project and copy your, that's so interesting. I feel like that, I probably wouldn't brag about that being easy, or at least reference that later on. Like it's
Yeah.
relatively easy to do, but you will have to manually copy over something.
Yes.
Anyway,
I can't even find where it says to pick. Maybe it's here in Kent's
so
tutorial.
I guess I'm going to take this app directory, move it out, delete everything in this current directory, do another remix project, and then copy app back in. Does that sound right?
I think so. Do you have anything in your Tailwind config or TS config that is custom?
Oh, true. Yes. Maybe I can just make a dev yearbook too. Can't paste. I just copy that copy. There we go. I'll just make a copy of it. I shouldn't have copied the node modules. But
No.
whatever.
And oh, yeah. Yours is going pretty fast though.
There we go. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and delete node modules here. I'm going to go into
I
the original, delete all of this.
and
Could you just
copy the
init a new app?
TOML file over is what Mark is saying. I think there's other things that are happening in like config files, but maybe.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. But he
we
still
use the
said,
netlify.toml file.
he mentioned, Mark still said just init a new app and copy the Netlify TOML. But you're saying a new remix app is what he's saying, which is what we're doing anyway, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the link to mine that I did yesterday, and that's my Netlify TOML file if you want to look
Okay.
at that.
Well,
We
I'm going to
could try
go.
to add it in that, but I think
You
it's
think just
not going
adding
to
it
work.
in there? Yeah, there's got to be some sort of like package or something that gets installed to help, I would think, to help kind of make all that stuff work more so than
It
just the
seems
Netlify
like an
TOML.
adapter, like SvelteKit has adapters,
Yeah.
so you would need some kind of adapter for these different platforms to change it to that platform specific thing.
Yeah, I would think so. Let me see how much yeah, this is not a whole lot of stuff in here to the point where I think exactly what you just
It's
said. Gotta
just
be some
got
sort
the
of
commands there, so I don't think there's.
Okay. So I'm gonna get rid of everything in dev yearbook.
It looks like there's a package at remix-run/netlify that's being used, and
Cool.
it's in the server.js file. So I'm sure that's why you have to create a new project just to get all those dependencies installed.
Cool. So it sounds like we're on the right path. And
I think so.
the command for this is this one. Let's go and run. Create me a remix app. Is this going to create it inside of a nested directory? I can fix that.
It will be
yeah.
in the directory that you're currently in.
Will it? Okay. Which is what I want. So we get to watch me create a brand new project.
Yeah. The first time I did it too, I used a template and I didn't realize that those don't ask you about the stacks don't ask you where you want to
just
deploy.
give you, like, this is where you're going to deploy.
Yeah. And it's like, well, maybe I don't want to use that.
Where would you like to create your app? So I want to create that in the directory that I'm in. So I think that would be
Well,
here.
you need to give it a name. So that's naming your directory.
Well, where would you like? I
So
just do.
you want
Really?
it in that directory, but you're in an empty directory, right?
Right.
So it's
So I can
creating
create
a
it.
directory. No,
So
I
I
don't
can't
think it
tell it.
will.
Project path. Please clear the contents of the directory. Choose. Project directory must be empty. I wonder. I bet that Git. I don't know.
The hidden files maybe are in
Yeah, I
there.
bet the hidden files are in there. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll just create this as dev yearbook and then I'll copy those files over. Say just the basics. We'll say Netlify.
Netlify.
Shout out to our friends at Netlify. We want TypeScript. Do we want to run install? No, because I'm going to copy this over in a second, then I'll run my own install.
Yes, good.
Okay.
Okay.
So inside of here, I want to grab all of this. I want to throw it back in here. And our Git history should still be there. Hopefully. Mark, did you left a comment about just doing dot. So that didn't work. And I think it's because it wasn't an empty directory because the dot Git directory hidden files were in there.
And you might want to delete that one. Yep.
Let's delete that. And then we're going to delete the app folder, right? So we're going to copy that one over. So we'll delete that. We'll go and grab the app folder from the copy and paste that in. And
yeah, I don't think there's anything Netlify specific in the app directory. I was looking at the entry files and seeing if there was anything in there, but I don't see anything. Node, React, and server.
okay. So all of these files should be back, right? So we've added Netlify TOML. So there's that. We have a server.js. So this is probably where a lot of that stuff comes into play too. Like I don't need to worry about any of that, I imagine.
What changed in your Git history?
Yeah, yeah, great question. So the package lock is deleted, so I'll run it install in a second. This one, the remix config, was there anything in remix config for?
So why can't this just be
Tailwind?
documented? Be like, install this package, add this to the server. Like this could be documented.
Feels like it would be.
Maybe these are things I need to take note of. So
yeah, I think it'd be super useful. The other thing, fortunately, is I think I'm going to have to go through the Tailwind again because Tailwind set up installs packages, and now they're not listed inside of my package.json. So I probably need to run through this whole thing
does it?
again.
Oh, because you're not using a stack.
Yeah, it won't have had any knowledge of
I got
Tailwind at all. I don't think. We'll get there. We're piecing it together. And I don't think I've run my npm install yet. By the way, just curiosity for people, just love to see what people are working on or excited about. Any maybe Remix, maybe Netlify, maybe Tailwind, but any particular technologies people are excited about or trying out recently? Anything new that you've tried out recently? It's like a dangerous, because I want to try everything new and I never have enough time. But I would love to hear if there are things.
I've been hearing a lot about Fresh and Bun.
So I just saw Bun for the first time, and Smartish Endeavors is coming. What is Bun? I've never heard about this.
It's supposedly like a new JavaScript runtime. So not Dino, not Node, a new JavaScript runtime.
Okay. Do you know what and why? What would the use case be?
No.
Okay.
Let me open it up. I really don't know much about it except that. That's like the extent of my knowledge. Native bundler, transpiler, task runner, and npm client built in.
Okay, so instead of having Vite as a separate thing, instead of having npm as a separate thing, all this stuff is built into Bun as a whole?
Built in, I guess, yeah. And it has the edge in mind, so starting fast with the edge in mind. New levels of performance being a great...
Jay said Bun looks like it can literally do all the things, which is basically what we just said, I think.
Yes,
that sounds right.
Batteries included.
New runtime, batteries included. Interesting. Homie Coder said, I'm working on a project with T3 Stack. What is T3 Stack? I'm interested in that one as well. Either. Yeah.
So shout out to the templates team too. Prince and the templates team worked on a K-pop stack that actually does have Netlify in it with Remix. If you wanted to use that to deploy also.
Love that. Such a fun, because there's different remix stacks. And they seem like they're all
based on musical genres.
Yeah, I almost said band or music. All right, I'm updating all the Tailwind stuff. Hopefully that is all the Tailwind stuff. Cool. Oh, and then styles in app.js. So inside of, where's this? .styles. So
you may not have a styles.
Yeah.
So I had an error when I tried to deploy their stack, or maybe it wasn't even deployment, trying to build the stack because the styles directory didn't exist.
Okay.
I did the blue stack and it has Tailwind integrated, but the styles directory didn't exist. So is styles new for Tailwind? Did they add this in as a
styles?
Like having that
You have to,
directory that's
yeah.
nested?
So you have to have some CSS file that does the like Tailwind, whatever those things are called, import. So
So it
that
doesn't have
is
to be
usually
at the
there.
styles directory. It just has to be in that CSS file, wherever that is.
Yeah, that CSS file doesn't necessarily have to be anywhere in particular. Which I'm actually wondering.
Is there
It
a
says
top level? I guess what I'm asking is, does Remix have a top level CSS file out of the box?
looks like out of the box, no.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. I'm also thinking, I think that style should be in app directory based on the way they're doing this import, because they are then going into, and actually I probably already have this. So inside of my root, I should already from the last one be importing. Oh, this
Styles
is
from
from Tailwind
/Tailwind. You named
CSS,
it Tailwind.
but that's the old one, which is funny because this is the same stuff that I just went through like 2 weeks ago.
That's why I'm wondering if something changed recently that hasn't been
Oh, okay.
updated.
Maybe it is. Huh. So we
But it
create the
looks like
app
the only
CSS
thing we
because the
need to fix
Tailwind,
is the path, right? So you're
but it's interesting because the Tailwind CSS file
is in the
is
root.
the outputs S. So it's like, I think, well, this isn't, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Oh, that looks like you're running the Tailwind compile thing. Are you not using like the just-in-time compilation with Tailwind?
I don't know. And to be honest, I don't fully know the difference between the two. This is whatever I'm running is based on what had happened before. Like when I followed those same
Okay.
instructions before.
This one looks like it's running all of your post CSS plugins and giving you that compiled output just in time, runs it like as you need it.
Okay. Do you know? Yeah. So this is inside of the script setup. It has dev
Concurrently.
and it
Yep.
does concurrently where it's doing the dev CSS and remix dev. I wonder, does remix Tailwind, does remix have a different way to do this on their docs?
Styling remix, maybe.
So when they do this, let's see, Tailwind CSS, run all. They have, that's a different set of commands, and they do the import of styles from that Tailwind CSS file.
But their Tailwind CSS file is your app.css file. It's not the one that you have, that compiled output one.
Right. Yeah, I guess we just need to pick one of these and run with it. So I guess I'll take, since I've already followed the Tailwind, I guess I'll do that for now. And then I will change this to be, so this will be /styles/CSS. Import the styles that way. And then npm run dev hopefully works. Of course not. App CSS. Is that not what I called it? In style CSS. That is what I called it.
You did. Yeah. What does it say? Styles app.css does not exist.
Input file.
Where's root.tsx? It's adjacent to it. Right? You're in that directory adjacent to it, right? The nesting's
I'm in
a little.
root.
And you're going into styles, which is in the adjacent.
Yeah.
Is that up a level or is it in?
It should be in the same.
Okay.
I wonder if I need, so I'm going to get rid of this old Tailwind CSS one. I don't think that would matter. So it's saying app styles, app CSS. It's saying the input is the app CSS file, and then the output. Oh, I may have, so the command is looking for styles app CSS as opposed to, Oh, I think it's looking for this directory. Well, God, I'm confused. Like inside of here, it looks like it's looking for this root, this styles directory to be in the root of the project, because that's the input CSS file. It's like this is the one it's looking for. The output it's going
Output
to
is
put
the other one.
into @/styles, which I don't know if I have to create that directory for it.
It should generate it for you. Yeah. Just did, right?
Styles @.css. This should be a
But
bunch
you're
of
naming
Tailwind.
it the same thing. Do you want to name it something different? So each time you build, it's going to
Yeah.
regenerate that file.
Yep. Could not locate remix. This is interesting. This is saying don't have remix run serve. Please verify you have it installed.
You ran npmi.
Yeah, can do another install just to make sure.
What file is that in?
I think it's from like the command, just trying to run it.
I would maybe try to do the remix, because maybe remix updated something that Tailwind hasn't caught up in their docs.
Maybe, yeah, rats.
Yeah, that stinks.
I didn't plan on falling this far behind time-wise to not even get to the Netlify part. And I've got to leave at like, I don't know how you are time-wise, at 45 for a doctor's appointment. But if we don't get it, then do you want to come back and hang out with me early next week?
Yes. I will be in Portland next week, but
Oh yeah, okay. Sometime
I will definitely come back.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna
Did you do the remove?
This,
Do you need to remove maybe the other stuff?
So let's do uninstall post CSS concurrently auto prefixer. I think those are the 3 extra ones.
Did you get
I got post CSS, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what I got left. And then I'm gonna copy in this one. And then I'm gonna run the init command, and I guess I should get rid of the existing Tailwind, although I bet it's going to do the same thing. Tailwind init gives me a Tailwind config file. Going to need to update that to tell it what type of files to look at. Oops, not the way I just did it though.
Selected everything and did it again.
Yep. That's what happens when you move fast. And update the scripts. So we'll have all this in our scripts section. Probably moving kind of fast now, but see if we can get this stuff. Which I wonder, so it sounds like this may be using the just-in-time compiler, since it doesn't do...
That wasn't using remix build in that too. It was using npm run build, which is running the build command, which was kind of strange in that one you had before.
Okay. I don't know. Finally, import the generated... So this is just saying import the generated styles like this. So it's saying that's going to build those files for me. I don't need to specify my own.
Is it going to build on dev also? Did it do the dev script too?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen this syntax.
So yeah, I was wondering what that meant, but it must mean that it runs all of them.
Yeah, all the dev colons. If you want to use Tailwind's apply method to extract CS. So I don't have to have this if I don't want to use apply. So like I could get rid of this completely. I think is what it's saying.
Well, you need the base.
I thought, but it said, so if you want to create a CSS file, and it only says to do this if you want to use the apply method.
To extract custom classes. Okay, so you're not using custom. That does seem weird, because I would think it gets that base from that @Tailwind base. Yeah.
Maybe it just knows. I don't know. I kind of want to try it without it.
We'll try it. Let's try it. Nope.
So same
could
thing
not locate the serve. Please verify you have it installed to use the dev command. So do we need to run like an npmi? I don't know if it's a dev dependency. It should be a dev dependency. Try that. Try.
Well, it's not, but it's not missing. Works just fine. Node 14. Node 16 has the same error.
Is it your Node version? I did see that you had to have Node version 14 to run it, but I'm sure you have 14.
I'm on 17, which there's a, I don't know what's the least stable or the most recent stable.
16 something, I think.
So maybe I'm too far. NVM
16.16.
Let me try it with Node 16. Same thing. Use default. Does that work? Node -B. VMRC, all the things. All right. Well, I'm going to copy this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest that we try to do. It's just try to do that. Because
Yep.
apparently it didn't install that as a dependency when we first initted the project. So sounded like that's what the error was.
And it's not. I wonder if there's something wrong with the onboarding if that's not getting installed.
Yeah, I think it's a very beta product.
All right. We installed that.
Hey, there's Alex. I was going to say that I don't have to go right away, but at 2:15, I'm streaming with Alex.
That is not supported.
It's apparently stream all day.
You said you
Wait,
have
what
something
was
with
your
him
error
after?
now? Yeah, at 2:15 or my
wow.
time.
Yeah.
At your central.
You are. Yeah, you're not that far east, but yeah.
Yeah.
Remix Dev is not supported for custom servers.
What is this nonsense?
I don't know.
I'm going to take my project and see if I can install Tailwind. Just in I named it like Rad Remix app.
I'll start my stream again for the nth time. Jay, I would love to see your stream. I remember those being quite fun.
They were very fun. And now you're just too busy giving talks every other week.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, you've been all over the world too, right? Like literally flying across the world.
For Vercel, the missing run serve dependency for Vercel was just fixed.
Okay. Yes, exactly, Alex. Every Friday. But today
I don't have to leave until 1:15 my time.
I'm good. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so that's when I will transition over. So I will just go seamlessly from one to the other.
It's hilarious.
I'm trying to go by the remix documentation for Tailwind, which is what you just did. I don't know why mine would be any different, but we might as well try it.
Well, and I feel like even regardless of that, I feel like it's like the server piece is the problem, and I don't know.
Yeah.
What version of Node are you on?
16.14.2.
Okay. npm run dev.
You don't get affected by jet lag. Can you please pass me some of that before September? I'm going to be flying from Stockholm to Hawaii.
World? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's like going to be completely upside down.
Yep.
And going from Eastern time zone to Stockholm. So within a week, I'm going to have to go forwards in time and then all the way upside down backwards. Super power. It really is.
It makes no sense that if that's real, how in the world could you possibly not get jet lagged?
Yeah.
Remix dev is not supported for So do I have anything running locally? Oh, check this out. Are you a Stranger Things fan?
Yes, we're watching the last one.
Did you
I'm not
see?
through it yet. I'm like halfway through it, and we had to
Yeah,
stop to go to bed last night.
it's so long. I watched it Tuesday night.
I can't. It's 2 episodes.
I know
Like,
it's
why
long,
didn't
but
they break it
it's
into
fun
like
though.
4 episodes
Yeah,
or
they
something?
definitely could have.
My NPM is frozen. This is why I use
Well, this
PNPM now. There it goes.
and the application for me won't start. Wow, what a sad time.
Okay, Tailwind config created. Configure your template pass in Tailwind config. Template pass content. Copy.
Wow.
Paste. Save. Update your package.json scripts.
Saying YouTube viral video man is not affected by jet lag ever. Love it. I don't even know. I'll be honest. I don't know what PMPM is.
Performant node package manager.
Is it actually that much different?
It is. It's really, really good. It's very fast. It's very popular in the Svelte community, and I don't really know why other than it's fast, but they use it by default in the Svelte repo.
Okay. Yeah, I
didn't want to paste all these scripts since it was broken, but I guess I'm going to have to.
I don't know what to do with this.
I'm still trying. Import styles.
Jay said his Google Meet just auto
opened
for meetings.
You must join.
Hey, yeah, it's time. So
peace out.
What in the world?
The root.tsx.
I wonder if I get rid of the CSS stuff. That work?
Import styles and export function links. What does the export function in the root.tsx file do? Because this is the same convention that Svelte uses with exporting things. So I'm wondering why we're exporting a function from root.
The links function?
Yes. Well, all the functions.
So it's a specific thing. That's how Remix knows what to do with those. So like the links function exports, it reads the stuff out of that and then it injects them into the HTML as like actual regular link tags. And then same thing with the meta stuff too. CJ, you're awesome also.
I have an error in my package.json. Oh, a trailing comma. Yep, I am getting the same error. NPM.
Trying to see if I can run it without. Why is it still?
Can you run?
Never mind.
NPM run dev remix and see if that works.
Yeah, that's basically what I was trying to do. Let me do that. NPM run dev .
Yeah, remix dev is not supported for custom servers. So I'm getting the same issue for custom servers. So are they calling Netlify a custom server?
I don't know. I don't know if that's
because
why.
We use serverless functions, so it's not a traditional server. It's going to host this as a serverless function.
So does this mean, are they trying to say that like you literally can't run this in development mode if you're doing that? Like, is that what that means?
Remix dev is not supported for custom servers because we did a custom serve command. But we use their documentation too, so we've done it both ways.
You're all still in the back. Oh, thank you. Oh, I didn't. I think that might be what they're saying, which is like, there's no way. How do you even do development without
I don't.
a
Yeah.
dev auto reload? I'm trying to run a build. If the build runs cleanly, that makes me feel like it is something specific with dev. Interesting.
Okay. My build
So
says specified input file does not exist.
which one? My build ran.
Yours did?
So I'm wondering now if I add all this, will it then actually deploy successfully to Netlify? I just won't be able to run locally, which is terrible.
It's really
but I can at least,
strange.
yeah, I can at least try it out.
Yeah. So once you get that, we'll try to add it to Netlify and see. Remix.
I'm going to go back into Netlify. I'm going to create a new site. Why did my build fail for my website? Whenever that was. Deploy manually.
What are you using for your website?
Not deploy manually.
Deploy manually is drag and drop. That's when you have like a static file.
I didn't
Static
realize that. Meant to do this one through GitHub. All right, so I want to do yearbook. Search.
I hadn't used drag and drop before I worked there, and I've done it a couple of times. Like if you run a static, even if you build like a SvelteKit static site, you can just drop it on there. Just drag the folder right into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really used that myself either. Okay, so this is going to run a build command and then deploy the main branch. And I don't have environment variables in there yet, but I'll do that later on. So we'll see if this works. Although I think the build rats, and let me turn off my screen because I think the build is going to fail, or the running of it is going to fail because
you need environment variables.
Yeah. Can you see my screen on the left, by the way, like in StreamYard and Restream?
No.
When I hide it from them, I hide it from you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Which one of you all do I trust with my environment variables? The correct answer is none of you.
None of you.
All right. Oh, there is an awesome way. Someone just told me about this. How do I tell Netlify to use my local.env file?
Yeah, I maybe have been the one that was just, so you have the Netlify CLI?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I probably need to connect.
Yeah, you would need to do
in.
Netlify. Are you not logged in? Netlify, NTL, nettle. Use the nettle command.
Authorize. Okay, so I'm logged in. And then how do I connect this
NTL
site to...
and net would create a new site on Netlify. And that will ask if you want to use your current Git repository or...
Connect this directory. Figure a new site. Use current. Yes.
And that will link your site.
Okay. Did that create me a new site, or did that...
That created a new site on Netlify. So if you do NTL space open, it will open your dashboard for that site now.
I think that actually connected to the correct one. Connected to the existing site that I'd already created, I believe.
Remove. List all environment variables. I'm trying to see if there's one. Yeah. So you can run NTL space env : import and then your .env file.
Oh, I forget. You can't see my screen now.
No, I can't, but I don't want to. It will list them out.
It will list them out. Okay.
Yeah, don't show it.
I was thinking it would just do it like without showing. Okay, so
but
what's the command?
I can share the command NTL env : import .env or whatever your .env file is. It's on Twitch.
Oh, this is a game changer feature that everyone should have, and they don't, and it annoys me. Apparently, I think some other ones do. I just didn't know about it. I didn't know about this one either. But okay, so NTL env : import, and then the name of the file, which is .env.
Yes. Thank you, Phil, for writing the blog post that just told me how to do it because I didn't remember the syntax. Did it work? Did it
Yes.
list them out or did it not? Because
It
I
did
wasn't
list
sure.
them out.
It
There
did.
should
Okay. So
that would
I'm glad
be a cool feature is to have a flag to say like don't show or something, or to pass a
yes, that
flag
would.
to specifically say to show something like that. But this is awesome.
Yes.
Okay, let me go and check and just make sure they're actually
In
inside
the dashboard.
the dashboard.
And you can do NTL open if you
That
didn't
makes
open
me
it.
so
It's in there.
excited. Yes.
Good. Nice.
Okay, so then I need to go to build and deploy and trigger another build. Deploys, trigger deploy. And I think I cleared my terminal, so I should be able to share my screen again.
Nice.
And we'll see how this works.
You can play the memory game if you want.
What, and try to memorize all of them?
Right there on the fancy a game while you wait play game on the
Oh,
top
what?
right.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a game.
What? I
Yeah.
didn't know this. Oh, I got one.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this is going to take me a while. Oh, this one.
Top left. Yep.
Got it.
Oh,
Is it
there's a dog. Bottom
that
right.
one?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, that dinosaur is down in the middle next to the dog.
Here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no.
That
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Pride
Shoot, what
flag's
was
right
this?
next to it. It's right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And your build is done if you want to quit. But we're like into this game.
I
now.
never surrender.
Oh.
This one and that one. Cool.
Yes. Nice.
That's so cool. This would make a great tutorial, by the way.
Yeah.
I love. That's great. Okay. Did this actually run a successful build?
It said open publish deploy at the top, so I'm assuming site
like
is
it.
live. Yeah, it looks like it worked. It's just the dev mode is not. So it is deployed. You can change that site name too.
Yeah, I had up my Namecheap account to be able to add something that I will probably do. Okay, so that's working. So that doesn't work locally in dev mode? Like, there's no way.
That's crazy. It's got to be something with whatever Tailwind is adding. That's so weird.
Well, I don't think it was Tailwind because I turned off the Tailwind. Like I just ran, like you said earlier.
You just ran the remix dev.
And it still broke. So I think it's something with the Netlify piece.
That is something I should get.
Yeah, so what was that? I want to Google that error message again. npm run dev. Remix dev is, I mean, I can't imagine what you would do with that. What I'm doing is currently toggling the config based on.
It's running Netlify dev locally when you install using Netlify with the remix, and you weren't logged in. So I wonder. Try running Netlify or try running npm run dev again.
I just did that when I got the same
Can
thing.
you do NTL dev?
I'm not used to NTL, but that's a good. I got
I like
that.
the little shortcuts.
So could not acquire required port. Am I running on another one? I forget how to do this. PF.
Yeah, I don't know
PFL.
how to kill it.
And then grep 3000.
Don't quit. We're not gonna quit. We got it. I noticed that the other day when I ran npm run dev on mine that didn't have Tailwind on it. It ran Netlify dev under the hood. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
The match game would be quicker than the remix deploy tutorial. In fairness, the game went by pretty quickly. So
yes.
So it actually is running Netlify. Well, I guess it has to run Netlify Dev behind the scenes because of, well,
It shouldn't have to, but I don't know what.
yeah,
I'm assuming, does Remix use Webpack? What's it using to bundle and do all
I
the
have no
code?
idea.
So like
I don't
Svelte
know.
uses Vite, and Vite handles all the hot module reloading. So I don't
Yeah.
know what Remix uses for that.
Mhm.
And it's a weird setup because they are SSR only, so they have their own custom like integrations for that stuff. Nikki has been working a lot with it at work, so he may even know more than I do with how that works
Nikki.
with Netlify. Maybe I should shoot him a message.
Server build target Netlify. Server.js. Ignored files. Directory. I wonder why this stuff is commented out. Server.js is a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to leave that commented out stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like stuff you would need.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I have no idea.
And is this maintained by Remix? Because this isn't maintained by Netlify. It's the same issue with Svelte kits. Svelte's adapters are maintained by the Svelte people, not Netlify.
Yeah.
What was that error message again? I'm shooting Nikki a message.
The Netlify dev one or the regular build one?
The regular one that said something about
Custom.
the
Let me pull it up.
custom server thing.
Oh, that I ran the wrong thing. I ran a build. Remix dev is not supported for custom servers.
It's not supported.
And someone on GitHub said that they are doing something based on process.env being production or not, but I've had server remix config, but now I lose. This is back in earlier that February too.
It's just really strange to me that my dev server ran fine before.
And this is after you had added.
I did the Netlify like installation like you did, but before I added Tailwind, my dev server ran fine. I'm gonna reclone it. Actually, maybe I can just discard all my changes. Maybe I don't even need to reclone it. I'm gonna discard changes and see if I can run the dev server. If WSL will open today at some point. Oh. Discard changes, remove the node modules just to be sure. Package
Yeah, I'm
lock.
gonna do a fresh.
We've had some weird caching stuff going on too, so like clear out all the node modules and stuff.
Well, I also had my like package lock file had stayed around from the last time.
Yeah.
So I just cleaned that out and then cleaned out node modules and did a fresh install. I'm back into my work Slack. I don't know why it kicked me out all of a sudden.
Okay. Discarded all of my changes. Yeah, it's working. So I discarded everything that I added in. I removed my no modules and my package lock, ran npm run dev, and it's working.
Okay.
Oh, it actually says not found though. So it's a different error.
Right.
It brought up the server, and localhost 3000 says not found. Fantastic.
That's similar to what happened when I ran Netlify dev. It said it couldn't get access to port 3000?
No,
Could not
it just
acquire
says
required port?
not found on the browser window, looking at the actual network.
Huh. And if I run dev
The network isn't showing me anything.
So when I run npm run dev remix, it says it couldn't locate remix run serve.
Yes.
And
And
I
then
don't.
we installed that as a dev dependency, but I didn't have to do that until we added in all that Tailwind stuff. But my site is live on Netlify working, and I can't run it locally anymore.
You can't run locally either?
I can run it, the server runs, but the page doesn't load. It was working on my Mac, though. Maybe I should try it over there.
So weird. Makes me sad. I'm gonna call this in a couple of minutes and get ready to leave, but that is super sad.
It runs on my Mac. So it's not running on the one that I cloned on Windows and tried to add all that to. So I'm going to
What version of
reclone
Node
it.
are you doing on your Mac?
Good question.
By the way, in
16.15. So,
joined?
oh, hey, Nikki. Another Nikki.
Oh, is that who you were talking about?
Nick Taylor is who I was talking about at Netlify, but
and
Nikki,
this is another.
Yes, this is another Nikki Newleman, who we were talking about yesterday. I'd been Myers on my stream doing Show My Chat, the Twitch chat thing, and we were talking about how wonderful Nikki is and supportive in the community.
Sweet. Love it.
So I'm running 16.15 on my Mac and 16.14 on WSL. I'm re-cloning that repo and seeing if a fresh clone of it works. It should take me 2 minutes.
I wonder what happens.
Git clone. Add remix app to CD.
I'm going to create a brand new project without Tailwind and see if I have any issue with that.
Yeah. npm's almost done installing. npm run dev.
Netlify TypeScript.
Yep, it works.
Without Tailwind?
No, it's not. I keep saying that, and then it brings it up, and it says not found still. So that must be like some kind of, I don't know why WSL isn't. It works on my Mac.
All right, I'm going to try to run.
That's weird. npm run dev works over here in the same app. That does not work over here. You knew Mac was better just because for streaming setup, I don't know why. Like, I have this gaming PC that I use for my streaming setup because it's nice. With OBS and all the things, it works a little better. Package minor, package change, shouldn't break it. I don't, you know what though? When I cloned it and ran npm install, there's a package lock difference. Oh, it's just the name. Never mind. Because I renamed it. I don't know what would break it. I'm not getting any errors. It says it's running Netlify dev. Server now ready at localhost 3000. Watching Remix app in development mode. Built-in 339 milliseconds. And then it opens the localhost 3000 and it does not work. Oh, you mean the difference in node versions? So having a 15 on my, I
Yeah,
can try
I wouldn't
NVM
think so.
use 16.15 is not yet installed. NVM install 16.15. NVM. Oh, that's good.
I am
Floored.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Oh my God, it worked.
With a slightly different version of Node?
With 16.15, it works.
Ugh.
Thanks, homie.
Um,
That's a great saying. Like,
I know,
thanks,
right?
homie. Yes, right? Like, I didn't even think about that. It's one minor version of
What's
Node.
the
What's the difference between
1615?
16.15 is what I used. Yep. That's exactly what I had to do.
Yeah, I figured.
Is this still with Tailwind integrated?
Potentially, so I can run. So that's still the same thing. I'll run dev remix. I'm still getting the stuff.
That loading environment variables from .env.
I think it gets past that and then it's trying to do something with dev.
Oh, okay. But it should just be running Netlify dev under the hood, and it's not even getting to that point. So if you run Netlify dev now, what happens?
Still getting that. Like I'm not sure why this is happening. Cannot acquire a required port. I tried to search for it too, and I don't see anything.
To kill the port 3000?
Well, I don't think there's anything running on 3000. I think this is the real way.
There's like a netstat command and that grep command that you typed earlier.
Yeah, the grep will do the search.
And you can do kill -9 and then the PID.
Of the ID. Yeah, if you find it. So let me see. I think that I'm doing that right, but let me check.
Sudo lsof LSOF. Yeah, sudo lsof-i :3000. I found a nice Stack Overflow post that's giving me information. $67953.
So it's got something running. Huh.
Kill -9 67953. And then try Netlify dev. So it tried to run the server. What did that say?
Jeez Louise. You installed ESBuild on another platform than the one you're currently using.
What? It's trying to run edge functions. So Remix must be built on edge functions by default too. I didn't realize that.
So this is actually running in my other page. Well, it was. Oh, well, it's not. It was for a second. Oh, Jason. I don't know how long, like how many seconds ago I missed this, but Jason just rated.
Oh, nice. Hey, Jason.
Jason incoming with a handful of friends. What's going on, Jason and friends? Unfortunately, we're about to wrap up in a minute. Timing.
We have
been
terrible, deploying a Remix app to Netlify successfully. It's running it locally that has been
Yeah.
the issue today, which is really the opposite of what
Yep.
could happen.
What usually happens. Homie Coder is asking about the M1 versus not M1. That may actually be a problem.
Mine is an M1, so
Mine is an M1 too, which it makes it sound like I like ran some sort of build on a not
but I
M1.
also got it working on WSL with the right node version. So I don't know that it has anything to do with the Mac, right?
So you got it running locally and
On my Mac and
it
on
deployed.
my WSL.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, this
I've
is not how
never
I foresaw.
seen this error before. I
I
at least
know.
was
I'm
able
having
to
all sorts of stuff.
replicate your Tailwind error. I got the same error on my other computer with that. But
So
this one,
if you try to run it with Tailwind, we still haven't gotten it.
yeah, that remix serve, we got that remix
Okay.
serve error.
Rats.
Our remix
Okay.
dev is not supported for custom servers.
Yeah. I don't
Setting
know.
up
It makes me sad though.
environment. This may take a couple minutes.
Platform needs.
You installed ES Build on another platform than the one you're currently using. What does that mean?
Don't know. Well, I think
A
it
very
could be.
similar issue because ES Build must be what they're using to bundle. Is that the bundler that Linux is using?
I guess I don't know, but like certain packages are built specific to the machine that you're on. So they were saying like maybe you copied over a node modules directory, but I'd already wiped out all of my node modules, so I'm not sure how.
Nikki just got back to me.
Okay, this may. So this is working, including the backend piece. So that's with Netlify Dev and also Tailwind working because my styles are here.
Oh wait, what?
But that was
Where
this came where I deleted all my node modules again, and then I ran it again with Netlify Dev, and now it's running, including the backend part because it's doing this validation.
Okay, it's just npm run dev. Whatever that script
I
I have set up for npm run dev is not working. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I go back to Netlify Dev.
So the dev script that Tailwind, did you end up using the Tailwind setup or the remix setup?
We switch. I think most recently I was using the remix setup.
The remix
But I'm
setup.
wondering,
Okay.
like, am I going to get hot reloading with this?
Try something. Add like the infamous bg-red.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that popped up.
Oh,
No.
it did. It just took a second.
I just refreshed it.
Oh, you did a.
Yeah. I could do PG. Red.
I think if you do red, there's a default color, but
It said reload function server. So that's doing auto reload on.
yeah.
I don't know why that didn't do. Oh, it may not be able to process CSS.
So that's what I was asking you about the just-in-time compilation. So if you make a change, it has to rebuild that entire CSS file you're using as the output. Because if you add something to it that you haven't used before, it needs to add that class in to be able to use it. Does that make sense? So it compiles. Is it compiling the entirety of Tailwind, or is it compiling just what you've used currently in your app? Do you know? Is it like doing some tree shaking and getting rid of classes that you're not using? I bet Post CSS is doing that for you somewhere.
I would assume. Well, so in this one, the setup didn't have Post CSS as part of the install.
It might be using something else besides Post CSS. If you search for background,
In there?
I think. Yeah. In that output file. Background color and then colon, and I don't know what it uses for red. It looks like there's a lot in there, so maybe it's using the
Not
entirety of
actually.
the Tailwind base.
It's not. That's actually not that big because it doesn't even
Oh,
scroll over that far. It's not
okay.
not that big of a file.
And you're
I
not
should have
using
added
that apt syntax anymore, or did you go back to that?
the oh, I don't have those imported. I don't know. I feel like
So
there's a lot of things in here.
say functions only work with Node 16 at the moment, but we figured that part out.
Well, the functions on Node 17 and the Netlify dev works. Yeah, there's like a lot of factors here that I don't know how to. Hmm. I don't know. I'm gonna need to run to get ready for this appointment.
Okay, well, we
So
got
we've
it
got some
deployed,
stuff to figure
and
out.
we just
Yeah.
gotta figure out the Tailwind
Yep.
stuff.
Running local part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if anybody out there learns anything about this and wants to send us some advice, uh, please feel free. But
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Good luck on your next stream. Do you have a link to what channel is that going to be on?
It's gonna be on Coding Cat Dev, twitch.tv/codingcatdev.
If I am coordinated enough, coding dev skip the link.
And we're not gonna be live for another 20 minutes, so but we'll be
Okay.
there
Be
shortly.
there shortly enough. I'm trying to put that in the chat. Did that go through? It's like I've never seen this. It's like trying to connect to the chat. There we go. Is
Oh,
this the right
so
link?
some latency issues. No
All right,
worries, I
cool.
appreciate it. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me, and I will definitely come back and help out. Let me know if you find anything on the Tailwind stuff. I'll do the same.
yep,
Get some people on this.
that's right. We got to figure some stuff out. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for chiming in with suggestions and stuff. Thanks, Jason, for the raid. Appreciate it. And I'll see you all